right, what's going on, shave people? Hope everyone's enjoying their Sunday. I'm going to do my shave live for YouTube today, but hope everyone's been doing well. I want to let everyone know I did try to film a video, maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the reason I didn't upload it was because some of the things that I went over in the video, I don't want to say what I said was inaccurate, but just kind of going over it before. Usually what I do is I'll record these videos and then maybe watch it once or twice before I upload it to see if there's anything that, I might want to just take into consideration. And so I'll probably try and go over some of those things that I talked about because I wanted to be a little bit more specific in some of my comments. So right now I just hopped out of the shower, threw on some of the SV pre-shave oil, and I will load up my brush. But off camera, I've been pretty much been using the, the Carbon ++ plate. I got a couple more shaves in using the Pole Silver Super Iridium. And so right now I'm going to be using my third use Red Pack Personna. It's one of the platinum chrome blades. So, okay, today's brush, Purple Heart. This is a 3-band High Mountain White silver tip. Just give me a second here. I'm going to grab the puck. We're using the SV Colonia. I think this is like my 8th shave in a row I'm using this since the middle of last month. So, but here in California, it's been really hot. I think yesterday it was above 100 where I'm at, and so it's been pretty hot. But the shaves that I've been getting from the Carbon have been phenomenal. I know when I had first started doing some of these videos using the Carbon, I had mentioned that I wasn't going to be saying too much. So if I had to guess, I've maybe had like 10 shaves using the Carbon. I'm really liking these, the ++ base plate. By the way, whoever's watching, if you can comment, how does the volume sound? Because that was another thing in that last video that I did. I had set up the camera a little bit differently, but for whatever reason, I'm still having microphone issues. Yeah, see if I'm looking now. I don't know how much it comes across, but anyway, I had hopped on the forums yesterday, and there was a review on the Carbon, and someone had posted how they were trying it out, I think with like the Kai blade, the feather blade, and maybe like a Gillette Silver Blue or something. But this person had more or less like a glowing review using the Kai blade. And so this Carbon razor, again, it's I think going to be considered expensive. Not necessarily the most expensive on the market, but I've been very impressed with it. So I'm happy I was lucky enough to pick one up when I did. Another note, so like the first shave that I used with the Carbon paired with the Red Pack Personna, that shave was pretty good. But for whatever reason, the second shave, same exact setup, the blade just seemed to be working really well. So, again, that's another thing. I don't know how many videos people are really going to care to watch if I post these and it's the same gear, same software, but okay. This lather's really, really nice. I don't find that these SV soaps that are made with the Beta 4.3 formula, I don't know that they really require as much water. So this is looking just a tad bit on the foamy side, so I'm going to add just a little bit of water and just work this a little bit more so I can get it to smooth out a bit. But so in the last recording, how's it going, Abraham? Thanks for hopping on. So Abraham, let me know if you have any questions. I just got another 30 seconds or a minute to work this in. So one of the things that I talked about in my last video, which again wasn't uploaded, but it was a couple things about the SV soaps. And so on the Italian forum, which if I'm pronouncing it correctly, it's Il Rasoio, SV was using that forum and its members at the the beginning of SV's shave soap, because they've been a soap manufacturer for a while. Abraham, I can address that because someone actually messaged me recently asking for my recommendation. So I'm more than happy if you're able to hop on for a little bit, then I can ask you a couple questions on what might be the most important. So maybe what I'll do is I'll post the link in the description of this video on where to find like the birth of the SV soap and how the forum we're using, forum members were helping out Alessandro to create and formulate this. So real quick, you guys, one of the other things that you guys haven't seen me do on camera, like in the last 3 weeks, is I felt really comfortable with this razor and how efficient it is removing my beard going with the grain. But I'm still finding that I want to limit my shaves, if I can, to 2 passes on my skin. So what I have been doing is from ear to nose or ear to chin, go across the grain, and then my second pass will go against the grain. And that has seemed to be working really well. Again, in general, this razor, even when I do get razor burn, it's been very minimal. The other notes that I can tell you guys are that I think the last 2 shaves I've been using both the initial angle that I was using was this, and then people, are using we'll say the cap angle really well. And I've been actually liking using both. So if you guys were watching my first videos, hopefully it wasn't coming across like I was only going to be using that. But again, initially I knew that when I bought this, it just seemed to be a type of geometry that was going to work for like applying a little bit more pressure on the base plate. Abraham, I'm just curious, how is the audio on this, as well as how's the video quality? I'm wondering how comparable it is to Facebook. Oh man. In a little bit, you guys, I'll talk about the Tri-Talk, because the last couple months I've just been kind of switching back and forth between the Tri-Talk R52, which is the concave design, and then the 2 carbon. So anyway, on the Il Rasoio forum, they were talking about how, or I'm sorry, Alessandro, the main guy who has, I think, a lot of influence on the SV soaps. He had made mention that the way that the SV soaps are made, the byproduct is going to have more or less around 6% moisture. So, okay, good. Or not good, but thanks for giving me the feedback. Okay, how come I can't see this angle as well? Now, the other thing that Alessandro had mentioned was that we'll just say like a average shave soap on the market, you might have moisture content in the product that you get that could be like maybe 8 to 15%. And then the other thing that he said was it could be up as high as like 25% moisture. And I truly do not know for sure, but I would guess that that's going to be like a shave soap that's going to have a high amount of super fatting. So I think what I'll do, you guys, is I've been going as low as I can on this across the grain. So I'm going to just add a little bit here, and I can't really go across the grain on my lower part. So I'm just going to go as low as I can on my jawline. So I thought that that was interesting for Alessandro to be able to share that with us, at least, in his making and experience with his soaps. The ability to mill the SV soaps, is going to remove a lot of moisture. And something that I read a lot of is that the benefit to us, getting a milled soap is you get more product for your money, but that the byproduct of doing the milling, if your soap gets rolled through a steel roller, you end up slowly losing some of the glycerin content. So why don't I just address this now, Abraham? So are you looking to get a recommendation for the shop or for yourself? Because I know that previously when I talked about this before, I don't think West Coast years ago picked up the entire line. I'm pretty sure I remember you guys picking up maybe like Cosmo. At that time, maybe Stella Alpina was around. So I'm going to go against the grain on the entire face. So, well, one of the other things that I wanted to mention was, so like this soap, you guys, this is, I think, one of 2 SV soaps that are not publicly available at all the retailers. This is available through Bull Goose here in California. And so this scent of the soap is a Italian cologne scent. It's going to be fairly familiar to, I think, a lot of people, but SV's kind of a Dave, I believe it's Dave Carter, but I've been checking out a lot of your videos. I really enjoy watching your videos, Dave, so thanks for hopping on and throwing a comment up. I'm just about to do my against the grain pass on my entire face. So I don't know what's going on here, but I've got that little clog. So let me just shake this out. But I had kind of brought up the idea of essential oils because if you guys aren't familiar with SV, SV kind of makes their shave soaps with, now I'm going to ride that cap a little bit more. So instead of on this against the grain, where you guys see a little bit more contact with the base plate, these last couple shaves, I'm finding if I put a little bit more focus around the cap, it seems to be treating my neck really nicely. For whatever reason, guys, the original carbon .068 base plate, that one just seemed to bounce a lot more on my shave. So yeah, right here, this is feeling really good. So, but Mirto di Sardegna, you guys, is hey Alex, how's it going? Thanks for hopping on my my other video replay and giving a comment. Appreciate it. But you guys, on the packaging on the front of the Mirto di Sardegna box, it says it's made with myrtle essential oil from Sardinia in Italy. And you know, but on like all the SV soaps, you get I'll answer your question in a second about the carbon, David. But SV is the shave soaps specifically, not all their soaps, but they're palm-free, they're tallow-free, and then you'll say like it's pretty much everything is natural except the fragrance. And so I think that in my experience, like if I were to contract someone or just make a shave soap myself, I would prefer to use as many essential oils as I can. But if I'm really wanting, let's say, a specific fragrance that might have things, like if I'm right, I think in this fragrance, there's rose and bergamot. But see, like rose essential oil is a little bit more on the expensive side. Same thing for sandalwood. I was just recently reading someone talking about their sandalwood oil supplier and how they saw, I think since their last order, a 25% increase in price. So just to give you guys my thoughts real quick, there's not the need or there's not a superiority with shave soaps that are using fragrance oils. And then on top of that, I'm not under the impression that something that is made in a lab is bad or that it is not as superior. I think that a lot of people like a very strong scent in their shave soaps, and you know, everyone's nose is going to be different on how much strength they need, you know, based on how their nose is going to smell it. But I find for me, I buy the shave soaps for how it's going to help my skin. So that's another reason if you guys might throw on some of my videos, I'm not usually trying to give you guys a scent review. But in general, if you're someone that likes to look at shave soaps and you know you see essential oils in there, I think that's great. I would prefer that those are in there. But sometimes if you're using some of the more exotic fragrances, if it's something like sandalwood or oud, those types of things, if they're using the real stuff, you're most likely going to see that represented in a higher price, unless they're just not using that much. Real quick to Dave and then to Abraham. Dave, I've had about 10 shaves with the carbon. It's probably my best performing razor right now, but that's also very subjective because I also have other razors that I've used 100, 200 times. But I'm really enjoying how intuitive this razor is. There's just not, in my opinion, a really, really narrow sweet spot on the angle. Another thing that I find that's really cool about this razor is the angle, once you find it, I don't find it hard to maintain that. So and one more thing about the carbon, it's allowed me, along with the Tri-Talk, to be able to shave more frequently. So when I was shaving off camera, you guys, I was pushing myself to shave every 3 days and then every 2 days. So today I just shaved off 3 days of beard growth. And really nice. Feels really good. So Dave, let me know if you have any other questions about the razor or the blades. But Abraham, you were asking about suggestions for SV for yourself. So What is the most important thing to you? I know a lot of people don't really care about post-shave. I do find that that is going to be something I notice kind of a big difference between the SV soaps. The ones that give, we'll say, like the fattiest or the most softening post-shave feel, in my opinion, you're going to have Cosmo is very high up there. Opuntia is, very nice on the skin. We have, yeah, Dave, just hang on for a second. I'll give you a tip. The Flying Mango is another one of the SV soaps that is not publicly available. It was made for Bull Goose, but that one with the mango butter is very high up there on my list. So Colonia, which is still available from Bull Goose, is very high up there for me. I would say that and Opuntia are probably my favorites from SV, just performance alone. But Abraham, let's say you're someone that does want some good post-shave, but they don't need it to be like on the fattest side. The other ones that I think have just a little bit of a thinner lather, but still very excellent skin conditioning properties. Stella Alpina is very good. Tundra Arctica, excuse me. I think 70th anniversary is going to be very good. The Kubebe, that's going to be kind of high up there, in my opinion, as far as how it makes the face feel. Mirto di Sardegna is very, very good. So usually what I do is I ask people, Abraham, are they concerned with price? And if they are, I tell them, you're going to be fine if you go for Stella Alpina. But like Manna di Sicilia and Felce Aromatica, when those came out earlier with the 4.0 and 4.1 beta formulas, when they got re-released in the beta 4.3, I think the scent definitely came across stronger. I think that, what do they say, the scent orchestra, or just how they all work together, came across a lot better. The overall performance of again, just the 4.3 beta formulas are really, really nice. And I will say this, so if Ken from Shave 326 is watching this, one of the things that I think he will like is, since he didn't get one of the earlier beta formulas, in my opinion, when I got Felce Aromatica 4.0, the first release, Dolomiti 4.0, Manna di Sicilia, and 70th anniversary. When those first four came out, I really liked all of them. But I do think that because it's a harder soap, I had a better experience after using them about 5 times. So I'll just say what I had to do was break in the puck a little bit. And that's not to say the shades weren't good, but I just found that for whatever reason, that top surface on the soap seemed to be wanted to break through. Whereas when you guys buy the new shave soaps, it's still a hard soap, but it's going to be a little bit softer compared to if you have those earlier formulas. Now, Dave just mentioned something about post-shave bombs and after the witch hazel. I guess since I'm not doing anything, you guys, I'll just throw in the aftershave now. So, Dave, just for instance, if you're not familiar with this brand, this one is water, alcohol, aloe vera leaf juice, then it's got fragrance. So this one's pretty high with the fragrance, which I'm okay with since I really like this scent. But then it's got glycerin, glucose, limonene, sorbitol, vitamin E, ethyl hexyl glycerin. So this stuff I'll show you. It's a thinner consistency. It's not going to have the same amount of burn as, like, just the straight. The burn, in my opinion, it's like 2 to 3 seconds. I've been thinking, so I ran out of one of my favorite aftershaves splashes, which is made by Douglas at PAA. And he has the scent list. It's called Sin. But I just looked up And I don't want to say unfortunately, but he's not making it with the alum powder in it anymore. So I'm thinking about buying Douglas's scent-free aftershave splash. I do have some powdered alum available. And I think what I want to do is, before I do any of my SV aftershaves, I want to throw on a little bit more of a toning one and seeing how it works. Now, Dave, I don't know if you have like oily skin. Maybe you like some of the more drying or the toning, alcohol heavy aftershaves. This is still really good. I find that I don't have to put on a lot. I do have skin that's on the drier side, but for me personally, the SV aftershaves work really, really well for my skin. The other thing that I do is I'll throw on a little bit of mango butter or kokum butter, usually before I throw on that aftershave. Another thing that I've gone back to trying, if you guys aren't familiar with Handle Barber or Handlebar Dave on YouTube, he's a barber in Arizona. But years ago, I had tried this and then I fell out of it. But applying a little bit of talcum powder after your shave on your face is kind of an interesting feeling. I don't know that everyone loves it. So I just recently re-upped on a couple new talcum powders. If you guys haven't tried Boral Talco, this is an Italian one. This is a really, really nice feeling one. Real quick, if you guys are still on, feel free to, I got some time, ask a couple more questions. So Abraham, besides post-shave, what would be the biggest difference on like, how do these perform in shave? Yeah, most of the SV soaps I think are going to work well with hard water, soft water. You can get most of them kind of on the thicker side. Some of them I think are on the thinner side, if that's okay too, like Tundra Arctica, Stella Alpina. But yeah, let's see. So Dave, just in regards to the carbon, I don't know what kind of preference you found for the handles, but I was able to purchase just the head from somebody, or no, I'm sorry. I had purchased it with a different handle, but then I sold the handle. So maybe in the future I will be getting the stainless steel version of the carbon handle, but Dave, you might want to consider, I don't know if I should suggest getting the plus plate or the standard 0.6 plate. But again, the more people that I read the reviews that have used the plus plate, most of them seem to really, really like it. I really like the other one, but for whatever reason, this one just seems to work well with my face. So, yeah, so Abraham, just since you brought up 70th, I love the 70th scent. It's going to be kind of like an Italian cologne with a little bit of that aquatic note in it. But for me, the performance just didn't seem to be as protective during the shave for my skin. So I did not end up finishing that soap. I ended up selling it. I still use the 70th aftershave. Which Dave, actually, if you like aquatic cologne scents, the SV 70th anniversary aftershave, they've got a cool little bottle for it, but that one's a little higher on the witch hazel. So I actually really like the aftershave for that one a lot. We'll pair it with some of the other soaps, but I'll tell you what, Abraham, I don't know where you're going to be ordering from, but I've used a ton of the 70th bath soaps. That one is phenomenal. That one actually has mango butter in it, and I think that's probably why I really like the performance of it. Yeah, but the biggest difference between the 4.3 beta formulas versus the earlier ones like 4.1, most of the 4.3 soaps, the reason why they tend to have a little bit more of that softer feel is they have a little bit more of the ingredients such as castor seed oil. They're going to have some of the different waxes that relate to beeswax or Cera Alba. Here, give me a second. I have it pulled up right here. They're going to have a little bit more. Oh, here's another one, the Galactorabinol, the Olipe butter. The other one I didn't mention, which is like one of my, I could live with just this soap alone, the Manna di Sicilia. That one works incredibly well for my face. These other ingredients like the Coco Glucoside, Glyceryl Oleate, Erythritol,